So this was the week where President Biden took little baby Biden steps to protect a woman's right to choose in the wake of the Dobbs decision that overturned Roe v. Wade, something many have been waiting for. So we're gonna get into everything, but he on Friday issued an executive order to protect the right to an abortion, although order is like a real strong term for what it was. Biden doesn't order anything unless it's like an extra side of raisins with his oatmeal. um is more of like a wish list or like a resolutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at some of them. They say that they would like to HHS, Department of Health and Human Services, will like to expand access to abortion care through medication, but that's kind of all it says. It's pretty vague. So here was an op-ed in the Guardian, um, which explains that the order calls for expanded access to abortion medication in states where abortion has not been outlawed, but it doesn't say whether this will include eliminating the current medically unnecessary restrictions on the drugs or making them available over the counter, as abortion rights advocates have called for. It asks for HHS to make updates to current guidelines for emergency medical care in an effort to reduce deaths in pregnant women whose doctors refuse to intervene in medical crises for fear of harming a fetus and incurring liability. It does not call for HHS to solidify these guidelines into a rule that would more forcefully protect women's lives. So it's like, I mean, we want to strengthen it. Well, we affirm the right to get the Plan C pill.
Yeah.
But there's no efforts to actually, like, what about like manufacturing it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. What about, well, or to go a little bit broader, what about doing something? Anything, anywhere. Yeah, it's you know, like they have executive orders and executive actions. I bet at one point he said, "Hey, I'm going to put out an executive action," and they looked at it and they were like, "Well, it's not even in the same neighborhood as action, so you really can't do that. It's got to be the order." But it's not even that. It's not a wish list, because that implies that he really wishes that any of this gets done, and he doesn't really seem to care. I see no evidence that he cares strongly about it. The only thing he wishes is that people would get off his back, and that's not explicitly written in the document. And according to the SCOTUS, that means it doesn't count. It's not a resolution, because that implies resolve. And the only thing he seems resolved to do is die eventually without having accomplished much as president. Yeah, no, this is almost the same exact thing as like me writing an op-ed about what I would like to be done. It's as attached to actual action as that.
Yeah.
It's Biden saying a whole bunch of people in groups, the FTC, the DOJ, Xavier Becerra, Health and Human Services, go do something. Go do whatever. I mean, don't do anything. Spend 30 days looking into stuff. Come back to me, and then what? And then we'll be on the precipice of the midterms, and they'll use that as an excuse to not do anything. They won't be able to do anything after the midterms the way this is going. And so, yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It got him a little bit of good press, and then people started to look into it. And I can't imagine anyone comes out the other end excited.
Well, exactly. And depending on who you ask, it's like a bold, important step. And then others are like, nah, there's not really anything going on in it. So the other thing they say is, okay, we're going to convene private pro bono attorneys and basically create some sort of like entity to defend women and people seeking abortions, and try to defend that right. And this will apparently include protecting the right to travel out of state to seek reproductive care, which again, in my book, is just such a bare minimum to protect the right to travel. Like, it's also like, who's got access to travel, the days off, the money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, where's the grant money, or where's the federal funding for that? Where's the mobilization of people who might want to donate?
Mm-hmm.
And again, back to the Guardian, they sort of say that, look, there's all these people who are doing this. So it doesn't say where the administration will work to support the attorneys already doing the work that they're saying they're doing, like the Texas-based Jane's Due Process, or the legal nonprofit If, When, How. It does not say how it will make sure that this supply of volunteer pro bono legal assistance doesn't dry up. Just kind of like, we want to protect these folks, task force style, which again, I do think is better than nothing. It's better than what was happening up until Friday, which was effectively nothing. And the last thing, they're going to try to prioritize patient privacy, including taking new steps to prevent the transfer and sale of sensitive health data and blocking digital surveillance related to reproductive health services. This will apparently include enlisting the FTC to protect the privacy of people seeking information on abortion services. Yeah. So there's the let's look into helping people, but not we are doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even the FTC thing is the FTC is supposed to look into what steps it can take to protect that data. It's not we've done this. This is codified. This is law. It's hey FTC, come back in a couple of months and tell me what you've got. And even that legal defense fund sort of that they're doing. You're totally right to point out, as The Guardian was, like, there's all these issues with whether it would continue long term and all that. But even if we assume that they do it well and that it continues, think about the point that we've gotten to. The Democrats were supposed to protect people's rights. And instead, when all of these things that used to be your rights are now criminalized, you'll have legal representation during it.
Yes.
When, if they follow the train of thought of Clarence Thomas and, interracial marriages are broken up, don't worry. You'll have a lawyer to walk you through the process as your marriage is broken up. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. We are miles away from where The Last Stand was supposed to take place at that point.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of retreating and sort of defending, the innermost realm, which is like the saddest realm, is like we're just ceding all this territory. And it feels like they're not speaking to folks who've been doing this work for so long, who saw this coming. And that clearly, if it took them 2 weeks to come out with executive orders that are this mealy-mouthed, they didn't have this waiting in the wings. They could have had this. It took nothing for them to have this ready. Why not as soon as, the decision leaked back in April? And yet they didn't have that. So it just boggles the mind that it took them so long. And then apparently the day of the decision, of the Dobbs decision, they did convene a meeting with a few, abortion rights activist leaders, organizations around the country. And they said it was like a half an hour call. No questions were taken. It was just affirming that the president cares about the issue. And that was it. And let me just explain. There are gradations of abortion rights organizing. I think we've had on, obviously, Liz Winstead. We had Lori Bertram Roberts on, who works with Mississippi abortion funds. And I would consider them to be more like badass, radical, kind of like, whatever, lefties. But a lot of abortion organizations and reproductive rights organizations are Planned Parenthood and NARAL and folks who are like kind of middle of the road, like kind of don't stick their necks out that much. I mean, they do good work, but Planned Parenthood is shutting down systematically, like their abortion services, but they are not by any means the ones who've been they're not the holier than thou, like ultra lefty, blah, blah, blah. No, they're like super middle of the road and they're pissed off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. When those folks are pissed off, when like the Women's March circa 2022, no disrespect, but like they're a shell of what they used to be. When they're calling out Biden's inaction now after this executive order, that shit is bad. It's bad.
Francesca, Deborah Messing's mad.
Yeah.
How much did you not even live up to ridiculously low expectations if Deborah Messing believes that you haven't really been doing enough?
She paved the way 20 years ago, right? With Will and Grace, or however long it was. She was like, God damn it, I didn't do this show to have you roll back.
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus rights, women's rights. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.